Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift, like you weren't welcome, even though you hadn't said a word? You're polite, kind, you don't cause trouble, and yet the moment you appear, people act strange. They avoid eye contact. They whisper when you pass. Some even mock you or distance themselves altogether. And you wonder, why? It's because you're not just anyone. You're chosen. And chosen ones are never embraced by the crowd. They're rejected by it. You see, rejection is not a flaw in your journey. It's a signal, a divine alert that your energy doesn't match the frequency of the world around you. People feel your vibration before you speak a single word. And the truth is, your presence confronts their deepest lies. Your authenticity challenges their masks. Your light threatens their comfort zones. They sense that something about you is different, not in a way they can explain, but in a way they can't ignore. The chosen ones are marked, spiritually branded from birth, not for comfort, but for purpose. And the world, which runs on ego, deceit, and control, cannot stand the ones who walk in truth. That's why from childhood, many chosen ones feel left out. You were probably the one sitting alone during lunch, not because you weren't lovable, but because your soul didn't mesh with noise. You needed depth, and the shallow couldn't give you that. So instead of fitting in, you became the outsider, the observer. But let me tell you something powerful. Being the outsider gave you sight. While others were lost in drama and illusion, you were quietly studying the world. You noticed patterns others missed. You saw through the fake smiles, the empty words, the masked intentions. And as you grew, your intuition sharpened, your spiritual senses expanded. But with that awakening came even more rejection. Because the brighter your light shines, the more shadows it exposes. People you once trusted started acting distant. Family members began criticizing you for no reason. Friends disappeared. Doors slammed in your face. But here's the twist. It was never about you being wrong. It was about you being real. Your growth made others uncomfortable. Your rising forced them to confront what they hadn't healed. When you're chosen, rejection is not punishment, it's redirection. God doesn't want you entangled with those who secretly envy you. That rejection saved you from betrayal. That no was divine protection from being drained. Every door that closed was a wall built to guard your purpose. See, most people chase acceptance. They mold themselves to fit in. But chosen ones, they're called to stand out, to disrupt, to challenge systems, to break chains. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were born to lead, even if it means walking alone. And that solitude, it's not loneliness. It's divine training ground. The rejection you faced wasn't accidental, it was orchestrated. Every betrayal, every silent treatment, every cold shoulder, it taught you something. It taught you to listen to your inner voice, to trust your intuition over noise. It pushed you to build a deeper relationship with God, because when everyone turned away, only the divine remained. There's a spiritual law. The more valuable the vessel, the more intense the fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified in flames. Chosen ones are forged in rejection. It is your rejection that breaks your dependence on people and activates your dependence on purpose. The enemy hopes rejection breaks you, but in reality, it makes you. You don't need validation from the crowd when you're already approved by the Creator. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to set things apart. Your very presence is disruptive, not because you're negative, but because you're true. And truth always rattles lies. Here's what most don't understand. Rejection is revelation. It reveals the hearts of those around you. The ones who cheer for you publicly but curse you privately. The ones who smile in your face but compete with your spirit. Rejection shows you who's for you and who's against your anointing. And sometimes, the biggest rejection comes right before the biggest release. When you're on the edge of a breakthrough, the enemy stirs people to doubt you, sabotage you, leave you. Why? Because isolation is the last step before elevation. You can't carry dead weight into your destiny. So God allows the cutting to happen, not to destroy you, but to make room for what's coming. Some of you watching right now feel the pain of being misunderstood. You've tried to explain yourself. You've tried to love people right. You've tried to prove your intentions, but nothing works. Listen, stop trying to be understood in a language your soul was never meant to speak. You weren't made for average. That's why average can't accept you. You're not cold. You're not antisocial. You're not too deep. You've just outgrown environments that were never meant to contain your spirit. Rejection was the divine alarm clock that woke you up to your higher identity. The discomfort you feel isn't a curse, it's confirmation. You are shifting. You are evolving. You are stepping into who you really are. And here's something beautiful. When God starts revealing your true self, He also starts revealing true connections. Not everyone will reject you. Some will recognize you. And the ones who see you clearly, they're part of your next chapter. But the ones who couldn't handle your presence, let them go. Don't fight to stay where God is calling you to leave. Don't chase the people God removed. Don't shrink your soul to make others feel comfortable. That season is over. You are not who you were. You've been refined by rejection. And now, you're ready to rise. You're not here by accident. You were led to this moment. And if you're still listening, that's proof your spirit recognizes truth. This is your confirmation. You were chosen to be different, not for popularity, but for purpose. Your path may be lonely, but it's sacred. Your tears were not wasted. Every no, every cold shoulder, every moment you felt unseen, it was building something eternal in you. And now, the world is about to see what God has been doing in the dark. You see, when God hides you, it's not to punish you. It's to protect what He's growing within you. Seeds grow in darkness, not in the spotlight. And as a chosen one, your rejection wasn't just about people turning away. It was about God pulling you aside, preparing you for something greater than your environment could ever handle. Most people don't understand that favor often looks like failure at first. You lose friends. You lose opportunities. You lose your old self. But what's really happening? You're shedding everything that was attached to your survival self, so that your destined self can emerge. And let's be honest, some of the rejection you faced wasn't even about what you did. It was about who you are. You didn't speak much, but they felt your presence. You didn't show off, but they saw your glow. That jealousy, that avoidance, that silent competition, it wasn't earned by anything you said. It was provoked by who you are in the spirit. Because chosen ones carry something unexplainable, a divine frequency that calls out what's fake and unhealed in others. And the moment your light walks in the room, darkness feels threatened. So what does the world do when it doesn't understand something holy? It rejects it, ridicules it, labels it too much, too intense, too spiritual. But let me remind you, Jesus Himself was rejected in His own hometown. The prophets were mocked. The visionaries were silenced. The world has a long history of pushing away what it can't control. And you, being chosen, are uncontrollable. Your spirit doesn't bow to trends. Your soul doesn't crave approval. That scares people, especially those still imprisoned by their need to fit in. So instead of asking, "Why am I always left out?" start asking, "What is God leaving me out of, and why?" You weren't invited to their table because God is building a table just for you. One where the seats are sacred. One where no backstabbing is allowed. One where your spirit is honored, not tolerated. And here's the truth. Some of that rejection hurt like hell. Let's not sugarcoat it. Some of those people you have done anything for ghosted you, talked behind your back, turned cold without warning. You cried. You questioned yourself. You wondered, am I hard to love? But now you see, you weren't hard to love. You were just hard to use. You were too strong to be manipulated, too wise to be fooled, too spiritually awake to play dumb. So they rejected you. not because of your flaws, but because of your power. And power, when it's not for sale, is terrifying to those who seek to control. And here's where it gets deep. Some rejections were allowed by God because He knew that if you stayed in that circle, your gift would be smothered. You'd start doubting yourself. You'd begin lowering your standards. You'd settle. And chosen ones don't settle. They soar. So God allowed the heartbreak, the betrayal, the lonely nights, not to break you, but to awaken you. You are not here to blend into the crowd. You are here to be a voice that echoes in silence, a fire that burns in cold places, a reminder to the world that God still chooses, still calls, and still anoints those who are willing to walk alone in obedience. And I know, walking alone isn't easy. Some days it feels like no one gets you. You scroll your phone looking for someone who thinks like you, feels like you, believes like you, but it's rare. That's because you weren't made to be part of the noise. You were made to be a divine